Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing has not been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the VetRise Podcast. I'm actually filming this live, and I am streaming on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And what I'm going to be talking about today is how is your military mindset hurting you? This is one of those conversations that people don't really like to talk about because it is definitely triggering a little bit. And Steven, I see you for all my Savage Squad members. All right, so let's dive into it. I want to talk about why your military mindset is hurting you. Now, if you've been following me for a while, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I speak my mind, and I want you guys to know that it all comes from a place of experience. It all comes from a place of like, I've been through this, I've done that, I've made these mistakes, and this is what has helped me. Now, what has helped me may help you. It may not. And there's a lot of things that I talked about, specifically all the mistakes that I've made and what I've been able to do about it and the changes that I've made. And the reason why I'm very honest about this and transparent is because what's the benefit of going through the issues that you go through without talking about them? If you don't talk about the things that you have learned from your experience of being out, of making the mistakes you've made, not only may you repeat them, but other people do not get the benefit of learning the lesson without the scar, of learning the lesson without the scar. And when you do take a moment and you actually realize, like, because I did this happened. Because I left the military, I kept craving chaos. Because I was always used to volunteering for stuff in the military, now I say yes to everybody way too often. You don't change your baseline. And we have to start changing our baseline. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is why your military mindset is hurting you. Now, I want to be very specific here. It's not the entire military mindset that's hurting you. It's certain things about the way that you see yourself, the way that you carry yourself, your day-to-day, the way that you operate, that may be holding you back in society. It's not everything. There are a lot of things from the military that you bring with you that are very beneficial. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that you learned in the military that if you transition the right way, if you use it as a tool, it's definitely going to be something that helps you. But not everything. Even your leadership has to change. Even the way that you lead. You can't knife hand people in the real world. A lot of the things that you bring with you are positives. But what I want to talk about today specifically is the fact that we have been used to chaos. We have been used to chaos for so long. We have been used to just being in turmoil, being in situations that are very, very much demanding of us, that require a lot of us to truly step up, that are very, very much high intensity. We are put in leadership positions at the age of 20, some of us older, some of us younger. And you do something that is absolutely amazing. Whether you deployed or not, whether you were in the Marines or in the Army or the Navy, like, you're doing something that is admirable. And sometimes when we get out, we feel like we lose our sense of purpose. We feel like, well, we did all this stuff back then. What am I supposed to do now? And instead of truly addressing the shortcomings that we have in life as just human beings, it's not even about being a veteran. It's about the shortcomings that you have as being a human. We don't change baseline. We don't change the fact that we're not going to be surrounded by high-performing people at all times. We don't change the fact that when we were used to volunteering for everything. And then we get out and we feel like we don't have the same surroundings, the same environment. And we don't. We're surrounded by people that are very different than us. But guess what? They've been here longer than us. They have been doing this for a much longer time than we have. They understand the way that they operate out here is because of what they are surrounded by. But because we got out and we were surrounded by different things, by different cultures, you really do leave the military, and it is almost like you're going into a different culture. It's almost like you are going into a different culture. Because think about it. When you were 18 and you left your home, you leave home and you have no idea what's ahead of you. And in my opinion, the reason why transitioning out of the military is a lot harder than going into the military is because when you go in, you are in boot camp. You are indoctrinated. They teach you everything you need to know to survive and do well in the military. Well, we don't have that when we get out. We have what? Maybe a 2-day class? We don't have the new indoctrination into going into this new culture because it is new. Even if you go back home as a veteran, you're going to a place that's going to be very different than what you left. Even when you leave at 18 years old, you don't know shit about society. You don't know shit about the societal culture. You're 18. For the longest, you've been taken care of. Like, that is the truth. So when you get out, whether you are 22 or 52, you have to understand that there's going to be a huge culture shock. Your best friends, the fact that you were a mentor, the fact that maybe you were 21 years old leading a freaking platoon in Afghanistan, all of that is gone. Gone. And the sooner you can acknowledge that, the sooner you can realize that, the sooner you give yourself permission to start doing something different. Because we have to do something different. We have to. We have to take into consideration the fact that now that we have come into society, everybody around us is different. And that's okay. It's supposed to be like that. Now, I'm not saying leave your military past behind you. I'm not saying don't be proud of what you did. I'm saying understand that you have to operate at a different level now. Now, just because you are operating at a different level doesn't mean that you are operating at a lower level. You have to change the frequency of your radio. The way that you communicate has to change. We have to drop the ego. We have to stop feeling like we are entitled. Because if we do these things and we keep looking for the chaos and we keep going in and out of relationship and in and out of jobs, and we feel like we're not appreciated because the way that we feel appreciated is by going into a job, staying late, working your ass off, and then someone else gets promoted over you. It's because they understand the culture. They understand that it's not just about the work you do, but it's about the fact that you need to rub elbows with the right people. You need to be approachable. You need to be likable. These things matter. They didn't matter much in the Marine Corps or in the Army or in the Navy or whatever branch you were in. It was different then. But all of these things matter when you are out. And if we don't change, if we don't adapt, if we don't realize that we have to learn, that we have to change our attitudes, we have to be approachable, we have to be likable, people cannot be afraid of us, we're not going to do well in society. We're going to jump from job to job, relationship to relationship. We're going to push people away. We're going to alienate people. We're going to feel like we can't trust people. We're going to feel like nobody gets us. But if nobody gets us, are they the issue or is it us? The only way to truly not just survive in society, but to create success in society after service is by understanding that you have to let go of the ego. You have to change your mindset. Take the experience that you learned in the military. Bring it with you. 1,000%, yes, bring it with you. But adapt it, change it, mold it. Ask questions. Be willing to take a job that maybe you don't want to take when you first start, but you have to understand that you may start from the bottom, but that doesn't mean that you're going to stay there forever. Don't wait until someone gives you permission to make a change in your life. There's no platoon sergeant. There's no platoon commander. There's no squad leader. You are all of those things wrapped into one for yourself. And here is the beauty of this. When you identify that you are not where you want to be, you have to find what is it that you are doing that is holding you back, not what everybody else is doing. Stop blaming everybody. Take ownership. What is it that you are actively doing that is preventing you from getting ahead in life? Are you rubbing people the wrong way at work? Are you not approachable? Are you going into relationships just to be in a relationship because you think you need love? You think you need a partner? You think that you need to be with someone to feel valued? Are you neglecting yourself because you think that your friends come first because whatever they need, you are there for, and you think that you get value from it, when in reality, it's actually very selfish because you keep ignoring yourself? We have to change that. Are you pushing people away? Are you refusing to get help from the VA or from anybody because you think that it's weakness? Because in the military, that's how it was viewed. You didn't go and get help in the military when you were in. You were expected to be one tough son of a bitch. It changes. It doesn't make you worse or better. It just changes. And that's okay. That's actually good. That means we're evolving. That means we're growing. That means we're not staying stuck. But if we can't, and we stay stuck, and we have this mindset of, well, I deserve this, or nobody is helping me, or why does no one understand me, or I've been dealt a bad hand. Your current situation is a direct reflection of all of the decisions you've been making for the past 4, 5, 10 years. Like, truly accept that. Think about it. Your current situation is a direct reflection of what you have been doing for the last decade. What does that mean? Well, to me, it means that in the next 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, you will be exactly where you are supposed to be based on the decisions that you make today. Based on the decisions that you make today, your tomorrow can be different. Change doesn't happen overnight, but the decision to change, that can happen in an instant. The decision that you need to stop being this egotistical asshole, that can happen in an instant. The decision that tonight you're not going to have that third beer or that second beer, and you're going to start training, going to the gym that you have a membership to, that you've been paying for how many years and you never go? You don't have to have the roadmap in front of you. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to understand that something needs to change. And what do? Well, this is when that military mindset can help you if you use the right tools. What did we do in the military when we had to accomplish something? We took the first step. We understood that having a plan is needed, but what is the first casualty of war? The plan. So you don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take action. You need to decide that you are the one that's going to change your life. You need to decide that you are going to stay focused on what you are doing, and that is the only thing that matters. It's not about having the solution to everything or figuring out what is the perfect way of doing it or what job you have to have or what career you have to take on. Like, you don't have to have the answers when you get out. You just have to make the decision that you are in charge of those decisions. Nobody else is. You decide. Nobody else. Now, if you are in society and you've been out for, let's just say 5 years for the sake of conversation, and in the last 5 years, you have pushed people away, you keep jumping from job to job, you keep telling yourself that your boss is an asshole and all these civilians suck, like it's not them. What is the common denominator in all of these situations? It's you. And that is not a bad thing. And here's why. When you have awareness, when you actually can take into account the fact that everybody around you may not be the bad people, maybe it's just you making bad decisions, it gives you a superpower. It gives you permission to do things differently. It gives you the acknowledgement, the reality that now you are in charge of your life. You are in charge of your outcomes. And I want to tell you guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for listening, for being willing to do something about what you are going through right now. All of you guys. Because you are making the effort. Trust me, I get it. I've been through it. I am on my second divorce. I have lost so much money with bad financial decisions. I used to drink every night after work. I used to take the streets home instead of the highway because I knew that there was 2 McDonald's on the way home, and one of them was bound to have the ice cream machine working. I was overweight. I pushed everybody away from me. I didn't want to be around people. I felt like nobody understood me. I felt like it was their responsibility to treat me a different way or a better way because, oh, well, I was in the military. I did this. I was a scout sniper. So what? Cool. But what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Everything you've done is amazing. Be proud. But do not rest your laurels on what you have done from the past. Do not feel like the only thing you are worth is the ribbons that you wore on your uniform. Your rank is non-existent out here. That doesn't mean you don't deserve respect. That doesn't mean you're not capable just because you were a sergeant major and now you're surrounded by a bunch of 20-year-olds who don't understand you. It means you need to focus on what you want. It means that you need to work intentionally on what you are trying to achieve. And if that means sucking it up and having some 20-year-old something tell you what you have to do just for the time being, remember, this is temporary. Because I promise you, your skills, your experience, the things you are good at, they will shine. They will shine. But it's not immediate. You have to pay your dues. The same way you did in the military, you have to pay your dues. I remember I used to be very proud of the fact that at my job, people looked at me and I thought that they admired me, respected me, feared me, whatever. Not that they liked me. I didn't care if they liked me. I just wanted to be proficient in my job, and I wanted people to see that I was better than them. Like, that is the blunt truth. And I was so misguided that I didn't realize that every single year I was losing friends. I was drawing this line in the sand that people didn't want to cross. I was not approachable. I was very successful by my standards in what I was doing in the profession that I was in, but I was destroying my personal life. My first marriage came to a screeching halt because of my actions, my decisions, nobody else's. The drinking every night, the being overweight, the smoking a pack of cigarettes, the pushing people away, the not going to therapy, the refusal to change, that was all me. But if you asked me then, I would tell you that it wasn't my fault, that life is unfair, that I served in the military and I don't understand why everyone's so jacked up in society. You are society now. You are society now. We cannot alienate ourselves from society. And in fact, in my opinion, you are the cream of the crop. You can rise to the top. You can surpass all of your peers. You can do better than most because you have life experience and you have military service. Use it to your advantage. Don't be an asshole. Don't push people away. Don't make people feel like they can't approach you. Don't talk about your war stories 24/7. Be compassionate. Be a better human being. Be a better version of yourself. That is what you have to strive for. Especially if you are building a family and you have kids. Because kids watch everything that you do. Kids pay attention to everything that you do. And you may not have a squad to lead or a platoon. You may not be in charge of a company, but you are in charge of your life, your family, the people that are there. the people that are looking up to you and relying on you now. And I think a hard part about all of this is that we were very young when we were given leadership positions. And then it was taken away from us. However, it was your choice. You got out for a reason. We were so excited about life and what society had to offer us and all the things we were going to do and grow our hair out and grow our beards out and smoke weed and drink and do whatever we wanted that we forgot that can only last for so long. That can only last for so long. The honeymoon phase doesn't last forever. Eventually, you have to work your way back to some of that discipline that you used to have. Because I promise you, if you don't, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody is going to come and say, hey, you got to start owning your shit. You got to change. You got to wake up. Nobody did it for me. It was me. I had to do it for myself. I had to break myself down so far that I knew that I had to come back. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here anymore. A lot of us have been there. You're not alone. All right, let's stop for a minute. This is the part of the episode where I ask you to do me a favor. But it's not a favor for me. It's a favor for your fellow brothers and sisters that served with you. If you know someone that has been struggling, if you know someone that has been going through it right now, and you know that they want better for their life, they just don't know how to do it, please share this episode with them. It might just be exactly what they need. That's it. That's my only ask. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Back to the episode. And if you're going through this right now, if you are experiencing this, I want to remind you that there are thousands of people that have been through it, are going through it, and will go through it. Your story can be someone else's survival guide. Your story can be someone else's survival guide. Be willing to share. Be willing to talk about the things that you learned, the things you went through, what your experiences are, and how you were able to overcome them. That's why I do this. That's why I record the podcast. That's why I go live. That's why I make videos. That's why I have the company that I have, because I truly believe that if I could change one person's life, if I can influence one person to start owning their shit, it is a benefit. And no, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I have my hard days. We all do. But if you make the effort to try and make your day a little bit better each day, eventually you can change the trajectory of where your life is headed. If you are unhappy with your current circumstances, good. That means you have realization. That means you have self-awareness. And that means that you have to do something about it. Everybody loves to tell the story about how time heals everything. I disagree. Time does not heal. Because if we believe that time is the only factor that is required for something to heal, that means that we will just wait. We will just wait. We will be stuck in the same position. We will make the same mistakes. We will go into that same negative relationship. We will keep doing the bad habits that we've been doing. Time does not heal. You have to do something. You have to take action. You have to change what is the root cause of the issue that you are experiencing. You have to make a change. I remember a time in my life when I really thought that I would be in law enforcement until I retired. When I would do it forever. When I remember that when I left the military, that is the only thing I want to do. And I think the reason why I felt that way was because I felt like that was the only thing I could do. Life is unlimited. We have endless opportunities. Nothing can control you unless you allow it to. The people that you have in your life right now, the situations that you find yourself in, the relationships that you are a part of, the communities that you belong to, the job that you have, all of it was placed there by you. So, if you're not happy with your current situation, guess who can actually change it? You. You can. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining and for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And you guys are all making a difference for other people, for other veterans. And you guys speaking up and you guys being willing to share your story and share your life and be vulnerable, you have no idea the impact you are making on this world. You have no idea who is watching you. You have no idea who you are influencing, who you are inspiring. Every single day, you have the opportunity. Do you wake up? Do you find a reason to be unhappy, unsatisfied, miserable, and complain? And do you just live your day? Or do you actually wake up and set your mind, have a mindset that today is going to be the best day ever? And you find a reason to start moving and you get into momentum. Just do one thing. Go for a walk. And then before you know it, you feel a little bit more motivated, a little bit more inspired, a little bit more centered. And you can decide to have a healthy lunch. Maybe you go to the gym. Maybe when you go to work, you have a better attitude. People start to realize that. Maybe you made plans with a friend that you haven't seen in a while. Maybe you stop pushing your family away because you keep saying they don't understand you. I truly believe that just doing what is required, that's all that you need to do. And what does that mean? Well, if you have the intention of working out, what is required of that? Well, you pack your gym bag, you drive to the gym, and you go through the workout. If it's not the best workout ever, it was still a workout. You are still going to feel better after doing it than not. You don't have to find all these reasons to fail. You don't have to look around for what's going bad in your life. I think as human beings, not even just as veterans, but as human beings, too often, instead of finding the reason why we need to succeed, we will find an excuse of why it's not going to work out for us. Well, I wanted to start the business that I wanted to start, but you know what? The economy. Or I wanted to quit my job and apply for this other job, but I can't because, Christmas is coming up. Or, I wanted to get divorced, but I have to stay together for the kids, even if I am absolutely freaking miserable. Or I wanted to do this for myself, but, my friends need me. You think that it's selfless, but it's not. Number one, you are enabling people to not be able to do it for themselves. Number two, you're finding reasons of why you're not going to follow through with your words. You're finding reasons of why it's not going to work out for you, even though you are the one that is in charge of that. You're finding reasons of why life is miserable when it's not. Take on a challenge. Do something different. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone. And by the way, if you feel called out, I'm going to tell you something. Information without implementation is just noise. One of the most beautiful things that you can have in this world is self-awareness. Because now that you understand that you feel a certain way about something, you can look at it from a different point of view. You can detach from that a little bit. You can take a step back. You can mentally think about, what can I do to change this situation? The situation I find myself in right now, going through a divorce, living out of one bedroom in my house, and dealing with daily feelings of sadness, of depression. I could easily tell myself, like, right now, this is the reason why I have to slow down. Right now, this is the reason why I have to focus on just taking it easy. Right now, what I'm going through, because of that, I can't keep going in my business. I can't leave the high-paying job that I have and retire. It's not the right time. Because of that, that's the right time. Because I'm going through all these things in my life right now, this is why I have to double down on the things that I know can change my life for the better. Because you are going through a storm, that is when you have to buckle down. That is when you have to truly focus on what you want, and you have to lean into it. I promise you, working out, eating right, going to bed on time, waking up with energy is going to make you feel much better, and it's going to have you make better decisions than instead of you going and drinking yourself to sleep every night, eating the fast food, ignoring your problems. You deserve better, but you have to earn it. And I do really mean that. Because life as we know it, if you look around, if you look at society, like the baseline is mediocrity. I hate when you ask someone how they're doing and they tell you, oh, just another day, or, I'm alive, or just getting by, or not as bad as yesterday, whatever. Like all those metaphors or euphemisms or whatever they're called, like they don't serve you. Like whatever you say out loud will not only become true, but it will become the manifestation of what you see your life as. That is why when someone asks me how I'm doing, I answer, and I really believe this, I say the best day ever. Because it is. Like you're alive. You're here. You can decide right now in this very moment, I'm going to get up off my ass and I'm going to go to the gym today. You can decide I'm going to have a better attitude at work today. I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm going to spend time with my kids playing baseball. I'm going to spend intentional time with my wife or my husband. You can decide that you don't have to feel sorry for yourself. Like you can decide. Sometimes that discipline that we're looking for, it's not automatic. Everyone loves to talk about the word discipline. I think that the word devotion is the real magic word. I think that when you understand why you're doing this, why it's important, why you have to change your life, that is more powerful than you telling yourself, well, I have to have discipline, because you can't get to the discipline part without understanding your why. Because even if you go on autopilot for 2 or 3 or 4 days and you have discipline, on that 5th day, when you're feeling down and the world is not the way that you want it to be, and you had a rough night, that will be your excuse to not follow through with it. You have to have devotion. You have to be committed to change, not just interested in it. Your military mindset is hurting you. If you keep looking for the chaos in life, if you keep creating situations in your life that require you to be in turmoil, everyone loves to embrace the suck. That doesn't mean your life has to suck. It means that in intentional times, when you want to grind, when you want to focus on something, you have it inside of you. But it doesn't mean that you have to embrace the suck 24/7. Your life doesn't have to suck. I think as veterans, we don't realize that we can take days off. We don't have to be in constant chaos for our life to have value. We don't have to answer every phone call. We don't have to reply to every message. We don't have to volunteer for every single thing that is asked. We can say no. When you say no to others or other things in life, you start to do a better job of saying yes to yourself. Like, really think about that. You only have so much capital in your day-to-day. You only have so many yeses. And if you keep saying yes to everybody and everything else, how many yeses can you give yourself? You have to find the value in your life, in saying yes to yourself, in doing the things that you want, in living your life the way that you want. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. Thank you guys for your time. I'm going to go ahead and change directions here a little bit. This is a live recording of the VetRise Podcast, and I am recording this. I am live on all platforms. I am going to actually start replying to some of the live messages that I am seeing on TikTok. I want to go ahead and acknowledge a few people. Lita, Cooper, I see you guys. Jess, I see you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining the live. I appreciate you. I love seeing you guys here. As you can see, I'm rocking the shirt. I freaking love it. It's nice. It's comfortable. It's very, very, very high quality. So I really love it. So thank you guys for making this amazing product. Unhinged Empowerment is the name of the brand. And Lita, if you want to drop the @ that'd be great. So anyone watching the TikTok live can give you guys a follow. And honestly, just thank you guys for being here. I'm going to leave all of this in the podcast. And for everyone that joined the live on TikTok that was asking for where they can find the podcast, it's called the VetRise Podcast. And I'm going to go ahead and check out other comments. So on Instagram, Chuck Stillinger said, JP, keep it up, brother. Your stuff helped me transition after 21 years in the U.S. Air Force. Retired 8 months ago. It's been a journey for sure. Brother, I appreciate you. I'm glad it's helping. And if I can help in any way, please do not hesitate to reach out. Unhingedempowerment.com. That is the website. If you can go check it out. All proceeds go to a veteran family in need. Call sign said, I love how you don't just help vets, but civilians too. Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that I believe is that we have to stop drawing that line in the sand where we differentiate ourselves from civilians, because we are civilians. We just have different experiences. And like, we have to collaborate. We have to learn from civilians because they've been here longer than us, right? Like, they understand what it means to get a lease, to balance your budget, to do things that we didn't do while we're in the military, right? Like, we have to learn as much as we can from civilians because we are civilians now. Lita just let me know that, yes, 100% of the profit goes to a veteran family in need for Unhinged Empowerment. So if you're listening to this live or on the recording, go check them out on TikTok and on their website, unhingedempowerment.com. My stepdad is a vet and never tried to understand me, even though I have a military mindset. You know, we're all human beings. We all have different ways of being. And I think that one of the most amazing things about us is that we can change, we can adapt, we can completely change our minds about something. And I think that it's beautiful that you can be here with us and that you can acknowledge the fact that maybe your earlier years weren't exactly what you wanted them to be, but here you are. You are making the decision to influence your life differently. You are making the decision to live life a certain way. And I think that's absolutely amazing. All right. I'm going to hop off. I have to go pick up the kids from daycare. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. This is a live recording of the VetRise Podcast. So it will be up later on this evening. Harley 22, JP, keep up the amazing work, brother. I use affirmation to start my day. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And keep the mindset on. Man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Even when I asked him to change a small thing, he refused. Yeah, unfortunately, the decision to change has to come internally. So you can influence, you can share, you can try and help them adapt and change, but it has to come from them. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining the live. So again, thank you guys for being here. Sarah, I see you on Instagram, and everyone else that joined on Instagram as well. I appreciate you guys on the TikTok. I appreciate you guys on the Facebook. I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon. Oh, and just, this is my one ask. If you can do me a favor, if you do listen to the podcast, please give it a review or give it a rating. And if you do listen to it, if you download the episodes, the algorithm will share it with more people. Call sign Stormy Dragon, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. And thank you for the follow if you are following me. I do this because I love doing this and I will never stop. And also in October, I will be in Atlanta for the Military Influencer Conference on a panel. So if any of you guys are in the Atlanta area, hopefully I can see you guys at the end of the month in September and early October. All right, guys, I am out. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember, live intentionally. You are in charge of your life. Nobody else is. And start doing something. Just start moving, start walking, start making a difference in your life. Bye, everybody. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join our mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget that we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.